Hello and welcome to
Gank That Drink,
the supernatural drinking game podcast. This is season 2, episode 12, The Road So Far.
And I am Nate and you are Krissy.
That's right. And we're going to finally be giving you our season 2 drinking game.
Finally.
We're ready.
Yes.
We've got it ready for you. We're going to talk through it and give you...
It has been in the oven. It has been baking. And now we are ready to present it at the final competition
of
for you, the listener. Yes.
And drinking games. Okay. So we did things a little bit differently this year. I'm assuming if you're listening to this episode that you've listened to the rest of the podcast, but I shouldn't assume that because maybe some people are like, no, I don't want to hear you flapping your gums. Just take me right to the drinking game.
Right. Which is this episode. So
which is this.
Yeah.
You skip right here.
Right.
And so if you did that, we added them as we went along. We added 2 rules basically for almost every episode. And then when we got close to the end, we started eliminating the ones that weren't working out, either because they happened too much or because they never happened or the time just wasn't right for them yet or whatever. So I think that we have assembled for you the perfect drinking game. Maybe not perfect, but a very excellent drinking game.
We tried.
Yeah. I mean...
We did our best.
Yeah. This is like, if you're going to watch 2 episodes, if you want to be conservative and you still play by the rules, this is about a 2-beer drinking game.
Right, yeah. You should have one drink per ep, I would say. And if you're drinking like a cocktail, maybe don't play drinking games with cocktails, but
do what you want.
Live your life.
Live your life.
Just make sure it's either a little watered down or hopefully you can handle several cocktails in 2 episodes of television.
Yeah, hopefully you're not driving.
Yeah.
So that's like where we're pitching at. It's like two beers, a beer an episode, a drink per episode. So these are our heavy hitter rules. These are the rules you are guns to play at least a couple times in any season 2 episode pairing. So no matter which 2 episodes you're on, these rules are going to hit.
Okay.
At least twice.
Okay.
I would say. And the first one is, this is one we added in episode 1. So we played this the entire time. And it is concussion.
Anytime one of the boys has a traumatic head injury, take a drink.
Take a drink.
Yeah, because they sustain them quite a bit. Several episodes, not in this season, but several episodes are centered around them having brain injuries, and that being like the crux of the episode.
Yep.
But yeah, no, take a drink. And maybe in later seasons that'll be a little extra drinkage if like the whole episode is about them having a traumatic brain injury.
So this is going to happen at least 2 times in any episode.
You're going to get it. They get punched a lot. They slam their head into furniture, ghost spirits, demons, chuck them across rooms.
Sometimes they just get bonked by a human fist.
Yeah, and honestly, the head injury isn't just like spinal, like back. How do they not have back issues? Like the Winchester's chiropractor bill must be through the roof because they're always just getting tossed around rooms.
Yeah.
Just constantly flung.
It is the same genetic anomaly that allows them to drink beer and eat cheeseburgers and stay like ripped to shreds and like that.
Well, they have to have that layer of fat to pad them every time they're chucked across like a ballroom or some like old dining room in a mansion into a china hutch. Like you got to have that layer of cheeseburger and beer.
Yeah.
You know, to protect all the muscles.
I also love that there are all these haunted empty houses that are like, no, leave the china hutch.
So much furniture gets left in these empty houses. No one cares.
A handsome man will be thrown through it eventually. Leave it there. Rule number 2, our most controversial rule.
Toxic masculinity. I don't know. It was much more controversial, I think, in the beginning of this season. And then as we got on, it was just like, okay, clearly how some of these characters are written and behave, especially early on in this show, they definitely change as we go on. But early on in the show, yeah, there's a lot of it, and it's not great. But we like to argue and discuss about it, and I think it's good to discuss with your friends.
With discussion, for discussion, debate. You know, like don't fight with your friends, don't argue, but like. You know, you're going to have
a healthy discussion about it, about what that sort of representation means on television. And
like, particularly season 2, because a lot of season 2, like, all of the stuff with
Gordon, yeah.
So everything with Gordon is like just steeped in the worst kind of masculinity.
And you have that, and you still have a lot of John stuff going on in this season, which is always like has this air of toxic masculinity with how they were raised and brought up to
Dad wanted us
not have feelings and be on the road. I can't wait till we get to like really meet young John Winchester and we get to talk about how much of a kind of pansy boy he was before he was a hunter.
Pansy boy, that's I'm calling that toxic right there.
That is toxic masculinity.
So like debatably this is going to happen at least once per episode, but sometimes, especially in the Gordon episodes, it's going to hit a lot.
Yes.
But discuss it, that's good.
Right.
It's good for
have
you.
Have a good chat.
And and if that's just like too much for you, don't play that rule. Because that would be, if I was going to say if we were going to take out one of the heavy hitters, that is a heavy hitter. So take that one out. Up next, someone dies.
Anytime someone dies, take a drink and take 2 drinks. If you cannot remember their name, this happens every episode. Usually every episode begins with some sort of death of a person you either know or you either don't know, or that they said the name like very briefly once, and then we're like, oh well, automatic 2 drinks at the beginning. Pretty much every episode, and then most episodes kind of have the same arc where someone's gonna also die in the middle, or at least come close to death. So that second drink every episode is on that one.
Yeah, it's gonna be 3 to 5 drinks in any 2 episode pairing. So it's at least 1 drink an episode, sometimes 2 or more. And I like that rule. And I think these rules we're discussing, those top 3, concussion, toxic masculinity, someone dies, and our next 2 heavy hitters, they're going to go across the seasons.
Yeah. I feel like for sure someone dies. I mean, I think you just got to keep that one in, because I mean it's a staple. It always happens for the most part.
That's like the roux of your drinking game.
Yeah.
That's the base.
Right.
That
and
is
I would
the
say,
celery and broth of your drinking game.
Yes, and I would say too, if a demon gets like ruby knifed at some point, like take a drink.
That counts.
If we get to the
we don't have a ruby knife yet.
We don't have a ruby knife yet, but I mean if someone either like a villain or someone kind of catches a bad end, take a drink for them too.
Yeah,
why not?
And hey, like, if you're not drinking, that's fine. I sometimes will enjoy a LaCroix and drink along. Yeah. Hydrate yourself. Yeah. There's a million ways to do this. Okay. The next up in our heavy hitters, one of my favorites, jump scare.
Oh, whenever there's a good old-fashioned jump scare, take a drink.
Take a drink.
Especially popular around mirrors, closet doors,
China hutches.
China hutches again. People always the China hutches.
And you're like, just imagine people who own antique stores going, no!
Anytime there's a chase scene and we get that we're following the person that's being chased, and then the camera swings around their body, you know that someone's popping up on the other side of that camera. You know it. Just take a drink.
Yeah, so this is going to happen at least once. Yeah. At least once in a 2-episode pairing, sometimes twice. Oh, yeah. And then our last heavy hitter, which we didn't add until episode 8 of season 2.
Late in the game.
Pop culture references.
Anytime there's a pop culture reference, take a drink. Take 2 drinks if you do get it.
No, it's like if the boys get it
if the boys get it.
If one of them's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. Then take 2 drinks if one of them doesn't get it.
And this is depending on the episode. Depending on the episode and what the episode's about, there's going to be either a million or there's going to be like 1 or 2.
Yeah.
So this is a heavy hitter. This is going to vary depending on what episode you're watching. So maybe just like keep that in mind. And it's a sip. Take a sip. Like it doesn't have to be a drink.
Right. Yeah. And I'd say that's definitely another one you could just play across all time.
Sure.
And say like, because I mean, there's going to be again episodes where yes, it's going to be heavy, and you can make that determination.
The one where the guest star is the woman from
Battlestar
Galactica? No, The Exorcist.
The Exorcist. Yes, all the Exorcist references and horror references. Yes, on that one.
So that is that one. There's a lot of horror references to that. But you're right. In the Battlestar Galactica's guest star episode, they also make a lot of, the Sixth Sense because she's dead and she doesn't know it yet. Okay, so these are our moderate rules. We like these rules, so we're including them in the drinking game. But they may or may not play in a 2-episode pairing. In your average 2-episode pairing, you may get one of these, you may not.
So these would be good if you're doing this with a group of friends, that each friend gets like assigned one, and if it happens, it happens, and if it doesn't, it doesn't.
Yeah,
Depending
that's
on how you're playing.
what I like to do. Or if everybody's playing all the rules, cool.
Yeah.
But like these would be the ones where I'd say assign one to each person. You get rock salt, I'll take positive masculinity. You get black eyes. It's fun. And so those are the top 3: rock salt.
Anytime there's rock salt, either like get the rock salt, or and this is not salt circle. That's a different rule, right?
That's a different rule.
Yeah. So anytime we got to get some rock salt, or did we add the iron into this?
No, and not yet. So
Not
it's
yet.
just rock salt,
Okay,
and if
just
it
rock
doesn't
salt.
work, if they shoot something with rock salt,
And it doesn't
then
work,
it comes back.
then we
it's
take
double.
2 drinks. Yes.
So this happened 5 times across season 2 that we like. And hey, listen, we don't catch everything.
We are not always paying attention.
We're paying attention.
I mean, we're paying
but we're
attention.
also drinking.
We're drinking. We're taking notes.
And so
We're doing things.
you got a 50-50 shot
Yeah.
of rock salt.
Yeah.
Positive masculinity. We added in episode 5.
Whenever there's an example of positive masculinity, like some
Yeah.
good feelings in the car, and other examples that I'm sure happen at some point.
Definitely. So like if they're being healthy and,
Yeah.
and being a good, healthy example of masculinity, you go ahead and take a drink. Now, this is going to happen maybe once an episode, but this is also debatable. So if you like spot a lot of things and you want to give the boys their props, then do it.
Give those props.
Black eyes. We added this in episode 7, and when the demon action starts getting kind of crazy, and so it happens a lot in episodes. It happens in, and then some episodes you won't see it at all. So that's why it's not
So you won't
an
see
across
a
the
demon
board.
at all in an episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just take a drink when you see their
Just
black eyes.
take that drink.
Fake names. We added in episode 7.
Whenever they use some awesome fake names, take a drink, and take 2 if you can pin what the names are referencing, or just.
So we leave this up to you, and it depends on what your level of pop culture knowledge is. If you're and the people you're playing with, if you think they're going to know all the references, then double your drink. If you don't know,
There you go.
like if they're like, oh, this is Agent, Perry, and I'm Agent Tyler, and you're like, okay, that's Aerosmith,
right.
Then you don't have to double it. But if you're like, oh, I don't know those names, then you double it.
Yeah.
Right? Just
Okay.
depending on if you think you aren't going to know them and you do know them, then you double up the drink. Like whichever one is more likely to happen.
Yeah.
You don't double up. Whichever one is least likely to happen, when that happens, you double up. Have I made this very confusing?
Yeah, choose your own adventure. Figure it out. That's why we're here.
No, I'm going to say it clearly.
to tell you, just
Fake
do
names.
whatever you want.
If whichever one is less likely to happen, I know the reference or don't know the reference. Or should we just fucking decide and tell people?
I just think if we decide and say,
okay,
if
then
you
I
don't
say
get
drink
it,
if you don't know the reference.
yeah, if you don't get it, then take a drink. If you don't understand their names, and that could mean that their names aren't special that day, you just don't get it. You take it a drink.
Yeah.
Taking a drink.
And so this is one that it happened less frequently than we thought it would. We're like, yeah, they're always fake naming. But they really aren't doing it that much in season 2.
No, I feel like they did a lot in season 1 to really establish that's a thing they do, because they have the whole like ID process and costumes and yada 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 that we see. But I know. I mean, we know it happens, continues to happen. It doesn't stop happening in the show. So I guess season 2 we just didn't have it.
I think it's going to happen once or twice.
Yeah,
depending on your episodes.
Yeah.
Stay in the circle. Double if they don't.
Oh yeah, if they pour that salt circle for a normie and tell them to stay in the circle, take a drink, and if they don't stay in the circle, which they never do, take 2 drinks.
Right. So we didn't actually record any instances of this happening, which is why we almost eliminated it, but I think we missed a lot, especially in episode 11 where they're, trapped in the town full of ghosty demons. It's all of the demon babies.
Yes, all the demon babies.
I think we missed some.
They pour
salt
the salt.
the windows.
They salt the windows and stuff. And they do leave. Yeah, we didn't.
And then EMF, which we added it late in the game. We added it in episode 8, and it only happened once in episodes 8 and 9. So
Yep. Take a drink. They bust out the old EMF.
yeah, and that's going to happen maybe once.
Yeah.
Don't drink continuously the whole time they're doing EMF, but when they bust that bad boy out.
Chug. If you see the EMF, chug while it's out,
chug.
and then you can stop chugging once it's away.
And then these are the rules we eliminated, starting with Wi-Fi. which is like, we were like, take a drink anytime. You're like, how are they getting that Wi-Fi?
Yeah.
And it happens every time. So we just got tired of.
Right. And we basically decided that Sammy has a wireless router inside of him, and it carries Wi-Fi at all times.
Yeah.
He's a hotspot.
He is a hotspot.
He is a hotspot.
And then we eliminated Slam.
Whatever. Oh, this one was just, it was too hard to keep up with. It was too hard to keep track of.
Yeah.
There's
We
many
even pared it
slams.
down. We made it a sip instead of a drink. But
we were just missing them.
everything was slamming.
Yeah.
And we couldn't keep up.
I mean, the show's intro is a slam.
Yeah.
It's a slam like sound.
So we had to be like,
yeah, it's got to be
too
done.
much.
Yeah, too much drinking.
Okay, so here's one that I think that we're going to bring, like, I think we need to try it for next season, for season 3, and that was cuts. Take
Yeah,
2
oh,
drinks.
for sure. I think we're gonna get way more into cuts, especially as we get into Sammy drinking demon blood going forward and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Cuts are gonna be huge.
So we're gonna
Yeah.
reintroduce that one. Same with what we thought was going to happen a lot, and we had to eliminate it because it really didn't. Headache.
Yeah, he doesn't. I remember from the first time watching the show around.
We didn't add it till episode 5.
Okay.
And then it only happened once in episode 5, and then it.
And then we were done with the headaches.
So we just eliminated it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we thought it would be a fun rule.
Because basically by that
wasn't.
episode, he already kind of knows what's going on with
Yeah.
Azazel and everything like that. So like.
So maybe we'll try it again in season 3.
Yeah. We'll see.
And then we also eliminated Copy a Plot because it was more of a discussion piece
Right.
and less like, oh, we should drink because this whole episode is.
Yeah. We got rid of that. And did we get rid of Theme Room too? Or we
never officially got rid of.
We're just playing that as like
Yeah.
an all-time, if it's a theme room where it's double drinks for the whole episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a
fun.
dealer's choice.
Yeah.
You're
Do
gonna
what
need
you
to
want
take a
with
lift
that.
home if
Yeah.
you're playing that rule. And then we also eliminated broken furniture. That poor old China Hutch.
The China Hutches, no one stands up for him, but we seem to not. I feel like it hits more than we
it
know,
does, and we missed it a
just
lot.
miss it. Because at the same time we're trying to watch for slams and jump scares and all those other things too. So like a lamp gets knocked over and we're like, oh, it's just a lamp, no drinks.
So those are the ones we eliminated for you. That is your season 2 drinking game. There will be a PDF for you to download and print to display, suitable for framing.
Ooh.
Display it in your home. Bust it out when you play your Supernatural drinking game. And that is going to be at mostexcellentpod.com. Look for season 2, episode 12 of The World so far. That's where that will be. We are also going to deliver to you now our season 2 watching guide. We're going to tell you which episodes. We're going to tell you which episodes we think are skippable and which ones are must watch. Now, you don't have to agree with us. Let us know if you don't. But this is Krissy and Nate. This is Gank That Drank.
That's right.
This is our season 2 recommended viewing. Okay. We're going to go through each episode. I'm going to remind you of what happened in each episode, too, because, we watched 22 episodes.
Yeah.
And they were glorious, and we love them. So, season 2, episode 1, In My Time of Dying. This is in the hospital. Dean is having an out-of-body experience. Sammy's fine.
Just great, just dandy.
And John makes a deal with Azazel to go to hell to save Dean's life. Yes. And he gives him the Colt.
Yes.
So this is obviously a must-watch.
Oh, we have to watch it. We get Reapers in this episode. We got really a crux, very crucial point in the entire show's arc, which is John sacrificing himself for Dean, which really sets our boys forward in their constant desire to sacrifice themselves for their family and the ones they love. And yeah, we basically get kind of the whole id and like drive behind the show. I think in this episode is like the death of John. So watch it.
The death
for sure.
of John and I think some really beautiful acting by Jensen Ackles.
Oh, I think everyone acts the hell out of the beginning of this season, and especially early on there.
And I love how jarringly season 1 ends, and how like season 2 just like gets you right back there.
Boom, yeah, watch it. Episode 2 was Everybody Loves a Clown, This was after cremating John's body, Sam and Dean.
We go to the Roadhouse.
Yeah, they go to the Roadhouse, so we meet Ellen and Ash and the blonde one,
Joe.
That's right, Ellen and Joe and Ash, and at the Roadhouse. So you got to watch it because
Absolutely.
It's our intro to all of that crew.
It is, and it's also our intro to Sammy's clown aversion, which is going to be a source of joy for us for many seasons. So we say episode 2, Everybody Loves a Clown, is a must watch, even though it's like it's a monster of the week. It's a bit silly,
but it is a different monster of the week than anything I think we've had in season 1 because we're really branching out into like other cultures and other like kind of lore.
Yes, because this is a Hindu
demon. So
at
a
circus.
Yeah, I think it's a really cool episode. Yeah.
All right, episode 3, Bloodlust.
You got to watch it for Sterling K. Brown.
Yeah, and then that's
you just have to.
Even though I don't love this episode, there's so much there. This is the episode where we meet Sterling K. Brown as Gordon. We have guest star Amber Benson as the vampire with a heart of gold.
Yes.
She and her nest, they mutilate cows, baby.
That's right. They're peaceful. They're conscientious objectors to the vampire life
of vampires.
That's right. They just want to live harmoniously with everybody on Earth.
And this is where we sort of introduce the question that's going to come up a lot in Supernatural, which is like, is the only good vampire a dead vampire? Can we allow these vampires to live their vegan lifestyle? Can we let them go? Of course, Sammy's like, yeah. And Dean's like, nah. And Sterling K. Brown is like, under no circumstances. And there's like the question of like, yeah, but will they do something bad eventually? It's like, yeah, but we all have the potential to do something bad eventually.
Yeah. And this kind of like question and debate opens up the door for so many of our favorite characters down the road. I mean,
it's true.
It's the basis for Crowley, Cass, Ruby,
and we do see Amber Benson
all the
again.
Demons that we end up meeting, like and befriending. Yeah, all the Garth and all that later on. Yeah, all based right here. Right here, baby.
Episode 4 is Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things. This is the zombie episode that is almost exactly like a Buffy episode, which is where began our discussion of how many times in these early seasons they do that. So I say skip
this one. Skip it. Absolutely skip it. No need to watch it.
All right, and here we come with Simon Said. I think we're going to debate a little bit about this one. So this is Sam has a vision of like a murder-suicide, and they meet.
Yeah.
So they meet Andy.
Uh-huh.
And Andy is like, this one also was like an X-Files episode, the Pusher episode.
Yes.
He's pushing people to kill themselves who he deems them guilty.
Right.
But he has a twin brother who has the same ability but is using it to be like smoking weed in a very cool van. Even though there is, again, more of that debate, can Dean abide Sam having these weird skills if Sam might go bad one day?
Right.
I say skip
it.
Boring episode.
Yeah, don't. I think you were right. You hit it on that. When I think of this episode, I think of the things that are X-Files-y about it that I like, and then the rest of it I don't like.
Yeah.
So yeah.
You don't need it. We're going to learn enough about
right, because we're
going
to have the episode with what's her butt before we get to the town of demons, or the town of Azazel's children and all that later on, where you're going to meet her. So you don't even need this episode to be like, there's other people out there with these abilities and things that Sammy is going through. No, you don't need that because we're going to get that in a few episodes anyway. So,
filler.
Yeah.
No Exit. This is the H.H. Holmes episode with Joe. I say it's a must watch because it's just so fun.
It's a fun
It's a total
episode.
Anomaly. You could skip it.
Right.
It and you wouldn't be missing anything. But just for my taste, I say you should watch it.
I would say tailor this episode to what you're trying to accomplish in your watching of Supernatural. If you are trying to get the overall arcing mythos storyline,
you don't
need to watch this. If you are trying to, one of the things with my wonderful significant other, I don't know if I said her name on the podcast or not. But
she's been in the background of the podcast.
With Abby, is I'm like, I kind of want to do a rewatch of Supernatural, even though we're rewatching it currently. But I want to do it where like I just again select the episodes that like the maybe like 4 or 5 a season that I think are like will really give her like the feel of the show.
But this has that. Like I think this gives you the
and that's what I
think
think if you're picking
fun.
out 5 episodes and you choose 3 kind of arc episodes and 2 fun episodes, this is one from season 2 to choose for sure.
Yeah, and it's also pretty rare for them to deal with something that's so based on reality like H.H. Holmes or like, they don't do that very often. Yeah. And I liked it.
And frankly, brush up on your H.H. Holmes knowledge during this episode because that's what I did the whole time as I sat on the Wikipedia page and read all about H.H. Holmes.
Okay, so The Usual Suspects. This is the Linda Blair episode. I think skip. Like, even though we introduced that thing of like all these police officers are pursuing them and it's like, no, we're going to let you go to continue saving people and hunting things. Skip.
Next episode, Crossroad Blues, gotta do it. You got Robert Johnson references in there, Hellhounds. We're introduced to Crossroads Demons. We get one of the most...
Oh my God, Crossroads Demons are such a thing. You have to watch.
Yeah, and we get one of the most vintage, classic supernatural scenes in the like tricking of the Crossroads Demon underneath the water tower, which is super fun, and like just watch that one.
Mm-hmm. And this is where we had the idea to like paint a devil's trap on a collapsible sunshade for a car that you can just pop or on a bunch of frisbees. Just get really good at throwing frisbees and paint devil's traps on them. I think we're onto something.
They'll be like Pokeballs.
Okay, so Croatoan. This is the one where we introduce the whole thing that like it's just such a mess. The Croatoan virus is such a mess. They go to Roanoke.
Yeah.
Are people infected? Are they not infected? Am I infecting you? Are you infecting them? Who's a demon? Who's not? Like the Croatoan stuff comes up, but like I don't think you have to watch this episode.
You need it. I don't think you need it at all. I mean, obviously, it comes up later, but if you're familiar with,
I remember
Roanoke,
specifically being like, "What is this about the Croatoan virus?" And it's like, just don't even worry about it.
Yeah, it's like not yet. We'll get into it in like a season and a half.
Hunted. So this is where we start trying to find other psychic children. This is where we reveal that Dad told Dean he might have to kill Sam, which is like bullshit, John. Get out of here. And so Gordon comes back because now Gordon's like, we got to kill Sam.
You got to watch this episode.
Yeah. Because
this is the one I was talking about where we get Ava. And this is where you get introduced to Ava. This is where if you skipped the Simon Said episode, this is where you're going to learn about the
This is where you're going to get all that.
Children from Azazel, but we also get, we get the very dramatic, Dad told me I might have to kill you, and Sterling K. Brown's reprisal and everything. Yeah, it's good. Watch it.
It's good. Playthings.
Ooh, this is
the dollhouse. This is the imaginary friend. This is the 2 twin girls. Turns out that the imaginary friend is the sister that drowned.
Right.
She wants the little girl
in the room who's been protecting this house the whole time from this demon girl.
I like this episode.
I think it's great. I think you got to watch it.
I think you could skip it.
You could, but if you're trying to get that supernatural flavor, and if you're looking for something a little more dark, this is not as campy as some of the other Monsters of the Week can be. I think this one's a little.
And if you remember, this is the one where Sammy like pretends to be drunk and makes Dean promise that he will. They really waffle around on like, kill me, don't kill me, kill me, don't kill me. Don't kill me, kill me.
And then we have the scene of Sammy waiting on the couch while she folds her underwear. That's this one, right?
No.
Is that a different one? I can't keep them all straight.
Night Shifter. That's you're thinking of the werewolf one.
Yeah.
This is Night Shifter. The next episode. 34 overall, 12 of season 2. This is the one with this is also like an X-Files episode. It's the bank robbery.
Yeah.
With the shapeshifter.
Yep. It's
like an episode of X-Files. It's like an episode of Doctor Who. but it's a must watch because this is where we get the FBI guy who's going to hunt them.
Yep.
And it's a good episode.
Yes, you're going to get the FBI guy that's going to hunt him. It is a good episode. However, and that is like a little bit of a plot as the FBI is on him, but sometimes with little plot points like this, like the FBI storyline is never a major storyline in the show of them having the FBI on their ass. It's always like a sub thing. I would say like you can watch that in a road so far before an episode, or in a previously on in an episode and learn just as much. Like, oh, okay, well the FBI's on him now because Dean might have killed someone. So I don't know.
Debatable?
Yeah, I'd say it's debatable, this one. I think it's a good episode. And I think, again, if flavor of Supernatural, watch it. But I don't think you need to watch it.
Well, here comes this one. Houses of the Holy. This is where the quote-unquote angel is telling people to murder bad people. Is it God? Is it not God? It ended up being the ghost of a priest.
Yeah.
And I think you can skip this one.
Yeah, skip it.
It's
good acting in it. I think it's entertaining. It gives you a little. It's not really like an X-Files-y kind of deal. It's kind of its own thing. But skip.
Born Under a Bad Sign.
This was our Hangover episode, yeah.
Yeah, where it's like, where is Sammy?
Oh, watch it. I just think the way this episode's written.
And we get Bobby.
It's super funny, and we get Bobby.
Anything with Bobby.
Yeah, watch it. That one's great.
Tall Tales. This is a Trickster episode.
Oh,
you got to watch the
Trickster. Yeah. We get Gabriel.
I love Gabriel. I love the actor Richard Speight Jr. I love this episode.
So good.
This is even across all seasons one of my favorites.
Yes.
A must watch.
Yeah.
Roadkill. This is the one we were talking about.
Trisha Helfer. Yeah.
From Battlestar Galactica, where it's sort of a Sixth Sense situation. She keeps every 15 years. Is it every 15 years? She relives this night over and over.
Right. Yeah, this is a good one.
I like it.
This is a really good one because I think this one kind of, I don't want to say keeps you guessing, but you definitely, it's well written. It's well, some of these, and you're writing a lot of episodes of television, so like not bashing in any way, but like, you can get kind of formulaic at times and kind of just follow the same little like plot points and plot lines and twists here and there that we're used to seeing. But then sometimes you get an episode like this that's like, okay, this is a little different. This is a little different flavor.
And we get like, we get like sensitive Sammy and like Dean who's like, just a waste of time. Like, and I love it. I love that episode. Okay, so this is the one you're thinking of.
Oh, the heart with the one that
heart.
Oh man,
this is the
one
episode.
That is exactly like season 11 episode that we started watching at the beginning, and then
this was the one where we watched almost an entire episode. We were like, this is not right.
Yeah, this is the wrong episode because it was so similar.
This is the one where Sam takes the bullet train to Pound Town with a werewolf, and then they have to kill her. Skip it. No, you don't want us to see Sam sitting on a couch while someone folds her undies. You know what it reminds me of is there's like the most notoriously bad episode of X-Files is about a vampire, and it's David Duchovny's at the time either wife or girlfriend, and everyone's like, we hate this episode. Get rid of it. It was just like, this is your vanity episode. That's what Heart is.
Exactly.
Hollywood Babylon.
I've said it over and over again. It's the episode that got me into the show. Watch it. It's great. Lots of pop culture references, lots of Easter eggs in this episode. If you're playing the Kripke or anyone involved with the show Easter egg rule, I think, again, you don't need to watch it for the storyline, for overall, but
it's great. Watch it.
It's so much fun. It's such a fun episode. And the movie poster in this can be seen in so many episodes down the line of Supernatural. Yes. It's just snuck in the background of so many different scenes. It's great. Watch it.
Folsom Prison Blues is skippable.
Oh, really though? I mean, it is. I hate saying that it is, but again, I love it. I think it's later half of the season has so many like well-crafted episodes. Especially, for the Monsters of the Week, at least, like they're really well crafted, well written.
But you don't need it.
You don't need it.
But you do need what is and what should never be. This is such a beautiful episode of television. It's a great episode.
I mean, basically, the last three you're gonna watch because it's
Dean is taken by a djinn, and it's like this is his perfect world, but it's still like garbage.
Yeah.
It's like, what if we could be normal? What if we could be happy?
And he's not.
There's no normal.
Yeah.
There's no happy.
Yeah.
Dean, it's a must watch.
Yeah, a must watch.
And then we got All Hell Breaks Loose 1 and 2. Must watch.
Yeah. So I think we started this season of Supernatural like really debating about skipping it. Really, really kind of like, look, do people, what happens in this season? Do we really need to go through every episode? Should we just pick out our favorites? And I'm really glad that we did, because I think throughout it we kind of were like, oh yeah, this is a great one. This is a great one. Now, there are maybe 3 to 5 that we definitely sat there while watching it and went, oh, holy. This is. Yeah. We were like looking at watches. We were like, "Is this over?"
It's a chore. Like even the drinking can't get you through it.
Yeah, and so hopefully that we did that in this episode, was tell you which ones definitely don't watch and which ones that if you can pick or choose, and which ones that you have to see.
Yeah, that's exactly right, and that will also be downloadable, suitable for framing. And hey, we want to know if you agree or disagree with us. Like, let us know if you think that Heart is the best episode of Supernatural you've ever seen, because we get so much nude Sammy back. I'm here for that argument. Yeah. I'm down for it.
Send us your takes.
Yeah. And we are going to be back soon with Season 3. And hey, I'm just letting you know, we are going to be doing some live episodes in Season 3, which we are pretty excited about. So if you are in the greater Phoenix area and
let's gank together.
Let's gank together. Let's drink together. It's going to be a lot of fun. So look for news on that. Again, mostexcellentpod.com. You can find both Nate and myself at National Comedy Theater if you're in, like I said, the greater Phoenix area in downtown Mesa. I think our lessons learned for all of Season 2 is like, it's a good show and we like it.
Yeah, it's a great show. And I'm excited for Season 3. I'm excited to keep it going and keep it rolling. And I think the fact that we found so many cool little like diamonds in the rough of Season 2, that Season 3 hopefully will be the same way. And they didn't make it 15 years of television without being good at what they do.
Yes, and without making without some duds.
Without some filler. Without some filler. Look, if you don't have enough ground beef, you got to throw some breadcrumbs in there, make the meat go around.
So we but also like our publishing schedule was so erratic in Season 2. Like we're gonna try and hammer that out a bit in Season 3. So hopefully we'll have more Gank coming to you at a more regular schedule very soon. Hey. Thanks for listening.
Absolutely.
Thumbs up, rate, review, like, tell
Subscribe.
a friend, tell an enemy, all that stuff.
Tell Reddit and Twitter and all the people that you know on the internet.
Yep. And send us your drinking game rules.
Oh, please do.
Yeah.
And send us drinks. If you got a cocktail you want us to try, we'll try it.
We will.
If you got a beer recommendation.
We used to try and do that so hard, and then we were just like, I'm tired.
We were tired, yeah.
So if you have a recommendation,
please send it.
Send it. And hey, while you're out there in the world, saving people and hunting things, keep the Most Excellent Podcast motto in mind, which is be excellent to each other.
And party on, dudes!